Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first ever devlog for Miracle WM. My name is Matt. I've been working on Miracle for about a year now, and I figured this would be a good way to share my progress with everybody, and hopefully it's of some interest of just how you would go about building a compositor in Mir, how you'd build a compositor generally, and kind of what it's like to build a big open source, or big-ish, medium-sized open source project from scratch, in your spare time, just as a solo person doing this. Yeah, I'm really excited to start doing these. The kicker is right now it's 7:30 because I had some problems with my audio, and I actually had to figure out how to use OBS in a way that doesn't make it sound like garbage. But I do work full-time. I work for Canonical full-time. I'm actually working on Mir, which Miracle is based off of. Which means that in terms of hours, I'll really only have about 1 hour a day from about 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. to feel myself working on Mir. But I have other obligations. I have friends, family, life, and, work. Being able to eat is always nice. So... I hope these will be kind of an interesting insight into how I make progress on this project, even though, it's not my full-time job and I'm just kind of doing it on the side for fun. So my goal is that this day is sort of a wash because I spent half an hour trying to figure out why my audio sounds like garbage. But what my plan is that I will film, probably in 2-week increments. I'll kind of explain what I'm doing at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of the session, and then show you the progress that I've made by the end of the session. And I'll do that over 2 weeks and kind of stitch it together in a cute little devlog that gives you kind of a general theme of the things I'm working on and the direction I'm going with the project. So for those who don't know, Miracle itself is a tiling window manager based off of Mir. It looks like this. I'm running it hosted in an X session right now. It looks like this. You can open up windows, you can move them around. It does all this cool stuff. And I've been slowly making good progress on it for about a year now. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that 2025 will be the year that, I get to version 1.0. I was very hopeful when I first started this project that things would go faster than they did, but I begin to realize that it's better to make slow and steady pace and actually get it to the point where I'll be really happy with it. So it's definitely going slower than I anticipated, but that is to be expected. I'm forever an optimist, and I definitely underestimated a lot of these tasks. Without further ado, I guess we'll get into what I'm working on this week, or for however long it takes, and that is drag and drop containers. So I already got partially working on this, so I could show you the progress that I've made. So we have 2 windows open right here. If I hold down the Alt key now and I left click it, I can drag this container around, and you see in the top left corner it says dragging, so we're in the dragging state. If I release it, it snaps back, and I could do the same with this container. Obviously, these are being clipped improperly, so that, ideally it shouldn't, you should still be able to see it being dragged while it's being dragged. But I have I switched over to Emacs here. I have a big to-do list here of all the things, all the edge cases. This is actually an interesting thing. Whenever I have a new feature like this, I tend to write out these big lists of okay, here's all the things I need to do right here. Oh, and by the way, here's all the complications, and this is why it's annoying to do. See, I even put in the word ugh. That's how you know it's annoying. But it kind of helps me visualize, just the what this problem touches, all the subsystems of the code that this problem interacts with, and how it's not as easy as it seems. This is a neat little trick. I don't even know if it's a trick. This is a neat little planning tool that I've found is really useful for me, just really explicitly stating out the edge cases. Anyway, So this morning, in the about 20 minutes that I have left before work, I am going to work on increasing the testability of this code. We have this class called the command controller. I am finally focusing on the testability of this system. I'm creating the right interfaces, creating the right mocks so we can actually test the whole thing. I've sort of long ignored testing here, and I want to make sure I don't do that anymore. So yeah, I'm going to work on writing a first test for the command controller so that when we tackle, the next thing I'm doing on this list is I want it so when you drag here, it actually swaps with this one below it, right? That's what it should do. It should take this tile and this guy down here should go to this tile. So I'm just setting up the test infrastructure. Oh, and there's a cat. I'm setting up the test infrastructure just so we can do that. So yeah, that's all for right now, and I'll get back to you once that is done. So I'm back. I'm just wrapping up right before work here. I now have this pull request open. Basically, I refactored the command controller such that it can more easily be tested. This was part one of this because it does add a lot of code, and I don't want to muddy it up with a bunch of tests at the same time as well. But it adds a lot of stub code, as you can see, and it adds the skeleton of a test that we could run for the command controller. So my next task tomorrow morning is going to be to start implementing moving those containers between on the grid so that when you drag them, they actually move. That code will flow through here, and hopefully, if I've done everything correct over here, which I'm sure there is something missing, I will be able to write integration and unit tests for all of that too. So that'll be it for today, and I will see you all in the morning. Alright, good morning everybody. It is now Wednesday, January 8th, and I'm just getting started here on the actual drag and drop functionality. So, like I showed you before, I'm able to drag it around right now, and I'm going to get into the code and actually have it moving around in a tiling grid, and swapping positions with other tiles, and getting prepended and appended to different tiling groups. And I was walking home yesterday and I have a good sense of how I'm going to do it. So yeah, let's just hop right into it, and I'll show you my progress in an hour. Alright, so I'm just coming up on 8 o'clock now, and I got it working for the simplest case. So now if I take this and go like that, you can drag it back and forth. Let's see if it works for 3 windows. Oh, it even works for 3 windows. Oh, never mind, it crashed. Anyway, the general idea is there. I don't believe that this will work for, oh, yep, a lot of crashes. Anyway, I don't think this will generally work for across outputs for now, but this is a good start, and if things weren't crashing, it would be even better. So that's probably what I'll get started on tomorrow morning, but this is definitely setting the foundation for something good. Good morning, everybody. It's currently Thursday, January 9th, and I just got finished fixing that bug that we encountered yesterday with the drag and drop, and I figured I'd tell you guys about it because it's kind of weird. So what was happening was when I was moving a window on top of it, or a container on top of another container, sometimes that other container would just close itself, and this was really weird to track down because suddenly the client itself decided to close itself, and this wasn't coming from our end at all. What it ended up being was that we weren't eating the pointer event. We were sending it basically half of a pointer event and saying, hey, the pointers entered this window or the surface, but then what happened is it never kind of got the, oh, when's the mouse up, when's the mouse exit, when's all that stuff. And the client was like, okay, that's not good. That's not good. I'm just going to die because this seems really fishy. So the solution there was to actually, if you see here in mirror, you can just return true in the policy handle pointer event. And if you return true, it doesn't get propagated to any clients. So during drag and drop, I'll now bring this up. I also turned off animations for now, just so it's easier to see. But you can see I can go like this all around. If I open one more of these, I can do the same thing. So that's really good. And now it's working pretty well as far as I could tell. The next thing that I need to work on, all right, this is working really nice. The next thing I need to work on is being able to drag it between outputs. Right now this works only if it's in the same tiling window tree, and I need to make it work between outputs. So that's what I'm going to go do this morning. And I will see you all after. All right, I'm just coming up on 8 o'clock now, so I got to start work. But it is mostly working, so I have 2 virtual outputs here. One's really tiny. I could start dragging this, and I could drag it over there. Right now, there's no way to drag it back into a blank space, so I'd have to bring a node there, but that'll come later. And then within this, it just behaves regularly. So that's cool. That's all cool. There is still a bug, though, that right now I'm going to switch to workspace 3 over here, and... oh, I didn't do it this time. Well, I thought it should segfault. Maybe it'll segfault now. It doesn't want to do it now, but there is some bug there that I have to figure out. And I will figure out that tomorrow, if it actually exists. Oh, see, that's wrong. Yep, there's something fishy's going on here, so I'll have to figure this all out. But yeah, good progress so far, and I will see you all tomorrow morning to fix that bug. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's January 11th on Saturday. I didn't get to record yesterday because I was feeling a little bit under the weather. But I did manage to get a little bit of progress done on Miracle, and I figured I would show you it. So, we had a problem last time where, if I get my cursor on this one, dragging a window in between outputs wasn't functioning properly. So I have since fixed that. So if I hold Alt and drag this to the other output, you'll see that it drags seamlessly. If I then on this output go to a different workspace like 3, you'll see that that actually is behaving properly. I can then drag it back to the other output and change workspaces here, and everything's working well. So that's really great. That pretty much rounds off the core functionality of dragging across this within a single workspace or across outputs. So that's very cool. On top of that, I wrote 3 unit tests for all this work, which I think covers all the cases. The first one's just moving between siblings. So that's a simple case of moving within a workspace. Second one is rehoming a tile to a different container. That is the case when you're moving, from this tiling group over here that's vertical to a horizontal tiling group, for example, that is over here. And then the last one, of course, is what I just fixed, which is moving across full tiling window trees across outputs. That's cool. That all has unit tests for it, and is ready to go. So I have this pull request open, number 333, or 333. And I'm getting ready to merge that. And after that, I'm going to get started on the next task, which is handling the container being destroyed while it's being dragged. I think I have a good idea of what I'm going to do there. It's just a matter of writing unit tests and whatnot for it. So I will catch you all back when this task is complete. Good morning, everybody. I hope you all had a really great weekend. I know I did while I was sick all weekend, but now it's Monday morning. I'm getting back into the swing of things, although still a little sick, so it's a little slower than I'd like it to go. Over the weekend, I managed to do a couple of things. Sorry I didn't record it, but I managed to fix the edge case where a container is being dragged, but that container closes for whatever reason, which includes focus being lost to it. So that was quite easy. I was able to fix a bug where when you're being dragged and someone else tells you to drag to a different position, like when a new container is added to the grid, then we don't deviate from that drag position. So that was also quite easy. There's a nice bug that came by where we were constantly dragging on top of the same container on accident, so I fixed that. And lastly, I made it so that when a window is dragged, it is unconstrained. So you can see that here. Now you can actually see the entire window as it's dragged. And it doesn't matter which tile you're in. So this looks much better, obviously. And that's what we were going for all along. There's still a little bouncing around every day. Ooh, and that was a bug. Oh, well, there still are some bugs which I have to iron out. But it's getting closer this morning. And first, before I hit all of these bugs and try to fix them, I am going to work on dragging to an empty, the output being destroyed while containers being dragged to it. So that should be pretty easy this morning, and then I should probably fix those bugs. Alright, it's going on 8 o'clock now, and I didn't make the progress that I was looking to make today. I basically almost fixed the problem, but I ran into a bunch more problems when you disconnect an output that caused all of the windows to disappear. So, I don't know what that's about. I'm trying to fix that code presently, but it's going to take a little longer than I previously thought. But if that all worked, I assume that my code for stopping the drag would just work. But I have to get all of that working, so that's going to be fun. And I'll probably pick that up tomorrow morning. But yeah, we're just getting started over here with all this stuff. Yesterday, if you remember, you're probably seeing it seconds ago, but I was working on the output stuff. So when an output's destroyed while we're dragging, I was trying to figure out what we were supposed to do. And the problem is that I ran into a ton of bugs with an output being destroyed. I have a ticket created already that I wanted to get to next week to fix these. So I'm actually going to abandon this task for now, and I have all of it up here. Actually, even better, we can move this up here. So yeah, I'm going to get to this type of stuff this week, and you can also see I'm adding 2 more things to my list here. One of them's optimization, the other one's output deletion bugs. These are the things that are coming up next, so I'm starting to plan them out in my head a little bit. I'm going to start making more concrete items for us to work on, so that when I get to them next week, this is a more filled out list. In the meantime, I want to tackle these last 2 big items I have here. So the first is being able to drag to an empty output. That should be pretty easy. I'm just going to work on that this morning, write some tests for it. And the second thing is making the drag better, and also not break. Sorry, what's not said here is that it shouldn't break. So I'm going to work on those for probably the rest of the week and write some tests, just cleaning up the drag stuff and making sure it doesn't break. So I'll get back to you later with that. Alright, so it's about 20 minutes later, and I got the first of the tasks done here, so let me close this. Now, if you drag it to another empty workspace, it'll just snap into there. So I always have trouble moving these screens. This is pretty easy to do. I was just in the drag and drop service. what I'm doing here is just checking if the focused outputs tree is empty. If it is, we try to drag to the tree instead of dragging to the container. And then when we drag the tree, we ask the tiling window tree if we can move it to the tree. A lot of tree words. And that really just depends it. It removes it from its current position and it puts it over there. So pretty easy, pretty simple, and it's working decently well. Oh, except we have, that's one of those bugs. Well, at least I hit it. And yeah, I'll have to fix that now. Good morning, everybody. I forgot to record an intro, but I'm currently finding bugs in the system and just trying to fix them. So this is the first bug I came across. If I drag this over here too quickly and release, it actually doesn't snap back to the tile. And you see I just did it right there. But if I go boop and wait a second, then it goes back. I think this is because we are aggressively setting the size somewhere. Probably when this leaves here, so I just have to track that down and see what's going on. So I'll be doing that today. Hello everybody, it's 6:30 p.m. now, and I was just able to solve that bug that I was talking about previously with the drag and drop. The issue was that I was using modify on the window controller here when I should have been using set rectangle. Now the bug is sort of subtle because when I was using set rectangle, that actually hooks into the animation system. But when I was using modify, that bypasses the animation system. With the effect being that the animation was actually settling after the modify event happened. So the animation was only happening on the first drag, but it wasn't happening when the drag stopped. So now, if I go here, you'll see, and I release really quickly, the animation actually goes through when the drag stops. It also adds like a little bit of an animation to it, so it's pretty cool. And it makes it look a little better, so can't complain about that. And I guess that is all I have for tonight, and hopefully I will wrap up the other bugs that I find tomorrow. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's currently 7 a.m. I just found another bug here that I'm fixing, and that's that we're not actually taking into account the modifier key before we decide to start drag and dropping. I just found this out while testing it. So we need to go fix that real quick. It should just take a second. We just need to check that this modifier is actually being held while you're trying to drag. Alright, so I'm back and I fixed that bug. So now if I just click around here and drag, it doesn't actually drag it. If I hold Control, it doesn't drag it. And my modifier key is Alt, so if I hold Alt, it'll stop dragging, or it'll start dragging rather. But I can't do something like Control Alt because that's a different modifier. So that's all working now, and I'm going to go ahead and write some tests because that has just proven to me how important it is to have tests, even for small things like this that you think work. So I'm going to go do that right now. Alright, hey everybody. It's coming on 8 o'clock now, so I'm going to have to stop in a minute here. The drag and drop service tests are coming along, but it's taken me actually picking apart a few other services out of it to make it actually testable and provide the right mocks and interfaces and whatnot. So that's still in progress. I'll get that done by tomorrow. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. I'm just editing the devlog this morning, and I figured I'd hop on camera and, speak my closing words here. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. If you have any feedback at all about, especially things like audio quality, because I don't know anything about that, and I've been struggling with that all week. I have a Razer Siren for anybody who's savvy with getting that working. well on Linux or Ubuntu and OBS, so let me know. So yeah, anything about audio quality, anything you want to see differently in future videos. So if you're more interested in the nitty gritty of what I'm working on, you want to see more code snippets, you want to, anything, just let me know in the comments down below. I definitely appreciate it, and I'll definitely take all feedback into consideration just going forward. So my goal here is to put out a video every 2 weeks. So I really want to get in the habit of showing off the work and showing people that work is actually happening on the project, and it's not just, I'm not just sitting around looking at a wall and then eventually doing one big pull request or something. So new video every 2 weeks showing off the work, and I want to do a release of Miracle every 4 weeks. Last year I got into a bad cadence with releasing Miracle, where it would be probably once every 3 months, I guess it ended up being. And that was a little bad because, I just had all these features. I had all these features, all this value just sitting, waiting to be used, and nobody could use it until I just decided to arbitrarily pull the trigger. So I'm going to shoot for every 4 weeks, just putting out a new minor release, a new minor release with a ton of new stuff. So look forward to that. If you're interested in using Miracle, if you're interested in seeing how the project's doing, it should be a little more transparent going forward. But yeah, that's all for me. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.